watching television for, 25 years or so, one comes across something called jumping the shark, right? Now, jumping the shark came from, and a lot of people already know this, Anyway, but jumping the shark came from an episode of Happy Days, which takes place in the 50s, where Fonzie, on water skis, jumps over a shark. And it's like, the episode is, there's some sort of dare where somebody threatens Fonzie's cool, and in order to prove that he's cool, Fonzie decides to ride on some water skis and, jump over a shark. Literally. You can look this up on YouTube. I'm sure most people have. But why the fuck is Fonzie jumping over a shark? Alright? And the title of this chapter is Creative Entropy. Now, the creative entropy is perfectly illustrated here in that, once again, this is me shooing away all of the things that control everyone. Anyway. And here's the thing. Yeah, you can do that, Greg, but can we? Yes. Not in the same way, but yes. It doesn't mean that you're equal to me. It means this. Once you know and accept and understand, and I don't want to say believe, because if you understand it, you obviously believe it. And it's not even a belief thing, it's a knowing thing. Alright? So once you understand what I'm saying, once you understand what I'm saying, then you just will not accept the bullshit. And once you factor me into your defense system, no, because Greg is out there, that generates the material you need to fight those things. Those physical things that are generated. Feelings. They're not just feelings, they're physical dream world, like numbers or physical representations of the knowledge that you have. So when something comes along and goes, "What do you think you're doing, Missy?" And you go, "This is just bullshit," because Greg is out there. And I just saw his video and he makes more sense than any religion or God character or magician novelist has ever made. He's God. There ain't no one out there that can do what he can do. And I know a lot of people are like, "Can you make those dream environments and do all that stuff that the..." Yes, I can. It's just that most people aren't able to see what I can do because they're too busy trying to be as good as I am. Which you can never be. Accept it. Alright? So back to this. That is an important point, though. Once you factor me, actual me, you know what I look like. You know that I'm here perpetually. I took a year off. I didn't die. I look fine. Look pretty good. Anyway, in HD now. Huh? Maybe that'll make all... Anyway. But, yeah, why did Fonzie jump the shark? That's strange, right? Does anyone ever think about this? Huh? It took me about 2 seconds. You know why? Vietnam. You know what I'm saying? Because are they going to send fucking Fonzie off to Vietnam? Are they going to send fucking Ralph Mouth and, what's his fucking name? Opie? Richie? Are they going to send Richie Cunningham off to Vietnam? Chachi? Joni loves Chachi. Now Chachi goes off to Vietnam and dies. Or Chachi goes to Canada. Right? So we got Richie, drafted. Chachi goes to Canada. All right? They could not do that. All right? Now, this is kind of a basic understanding of creative entropy. The show can't go on because it takes place in America in the 50s, and if the show went on for more than 10 or, I'm sure it doesn't take place in 1950. It's like 56 or something. But, like, the show goes for like 7 years. What's going on? The 50s just keep going forever? No. Eventually, Vietnam happens, and all those kids will be sent off to their deaths, or, they just, come back, Ooh, we can't have that happen, right? Have some Mork and Mindy, and some Laverne and Shirley. Laverne and Shirley could only go so far, too. Otherwise, Lenny and Squiggy would go off to Vietnam. So, you got that. That's a good understanding. But what about other shows? Like, that take place, in current times, right? Now let's just zip all the way, through the 70s and 80s and 90s to the last decade, and we have Sopranos. All right? So Sopranos, it only lasted 6 seasons. Why? Did they jump the shark? They kind of did jump the shark. I mean, they didn't really jump the shark, but it just fell victim to creative entropy. Why? Because all of the characters who were dying and showing up in Tony's dreams would have eventually tipped Tony off to the fact that when people die, they just live on. Excuse me. Rather. Anyway, but more like just a moment, folks. So they just had Tony, like, they just ended it abruptly because, the creator was getting a little too, like, close to the button, Oh, when people die, they are in the dream world, Oh, I'm gonna tell everyone. Whoa, series over, and then it's just gone. The end. That's modern day creative entropy. So it's not just like, oh, we couldn't keep going with Happy Days because then everyone would have to go off to Vietnam. It's we had to end the series because we started giving away more information than our masters are comfortable with us conveying to people. So, there's only so much people can convey. And here's the thing. I do this to the masters of whoever, and I say, you guys can do it too. But in order for you guys to do it, you gotta, I'm supposed to be making movies right now. I'm in a basement recording, this stuff, working on my webcomic, while, like, Chris Nolan and Zack Snyder are out there spending $250 million on a Superman reboot, which I actually, I thought it was pretty good, but it's gonna implode because we've already seen Superman go 3 movies. It's like there's only so much that people can do before they have to reboot a series, because the creative entropy demons come along and say, time's up. Because any more time with Superman, you're just going to get sick of it. Like, I started reading comic books, Marvel Comics and DC Comics, back in, like, the early 80s, like, mid-80s. So, like, 83 to, like, well, I mean, I really started in, like, 81, 82. But, like, I really got into X-Men and Fantastic Four in, like, 80, 82, 83, 83, 84, 85, right? By 1986, they were all out of ideas. Like, one of my favorite artists and writer teams was John Byrne. right? Or, John Byrne worked on X-Men, something called the Dark Phoenix Saga, that many people understand is one of the best comic arcs in the history of comics, right? And that was Byrne Claremont. Chris Claremont was the writer, John Byrne was the artist. And then there's also Terry Austin as the inker. But, and that was great and all, and then she died. That was it, right? And what happened? John Byrne went over to Fantastic Four, right? And John Byrne worked on Fantastic Four for quite a few issues, quite a few years. And during his tenure on Fantastic Four, John Byrne wrote a... Anyway, John Byrne wrote a comic where Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, goes on trial for saving Galactus, which eventually led to a number of planets, which there's a bowl over here, like for cereal. Anyway, but Reed Richards saves Galactus. Then Galactus goes off and destroys a few worlds. Then the remaining people from those worlds puts Reed Richards on trial for saving Galactus, who destroyed their worlds. So they hold Reed Richards responsible for the destruction of their planets. And in that issue, there's a bunch of stuff about entropy. Galactus is supposedly the last surviving member of a previous civilization from another planet. And he basically just becomes the, godhead of the entire universe. So he comes to Earth, and he's like, I know everything, and you're all just going to wind up repeating what happened to me. I don't know if he ever said that, but basically the issue says that Galactus, whose real name was Galen, he was a scientist on some planet that was hyper-developed, or that was intelligent, and, they were at the... it's very like the new Superman movie. Anyway, so, I'm making a web comic. Alright? I want to make movies. Alright? Now there's a weird thing where the knowledge that I have and what I'm telling you all is stuff that is exclusive. Anyway, it's stuff that is exclusive to me. And Chris Nolan is not going to go out there and be like, I'm the genius that solved the puzzle and that has the power to tell you all everything. Because I've already done it. Like, Chris Nolan made Inception. Yeah, that's great and all. But Actuality Update fucking tells the real fucking story. It's already online and published, years ago. 2009 is when I started Actuality Update. So, those guys are out there, ooh, we got Man of Steel, and we're ooh, we got all the money. They're like, we've got all the money, we got all the power, we've got all of the, prestige, and no pun intended. But, they've got the clout, they've got the record, they've got the supplies, and, they're doing it. Yeehaw, let's just leave Greg in his basement because he's, he's supposed to whatever the reasoning is, they're not going to be making the movies that I'm going to be making. They're all dealing with their own creative entropy, where they're trying to ignore the fact that I'm, what I am, God, right? Oh, no, that freaks a lot of people out. All right? And not because of, a mysterious reason, but because it is something that people have worked a great deal... Hold on, folks. Anyway, it is something that people have worked a great deal to make weird. Why? Because it is a real thing that somebody needed to be in order to run the universe properly. Obviously, it was not being run properly what with psychic vampirism running rampant, suicides here, drugs illegal. What is this shit? So when I say I'm God, oh, that sets off a lot of alarms because people have been conditioned to have alarms go off when they hear that. But it is an actual position that needs to be held, and that I hold, that was never actually held before. There were a lot of people doing stuff, but they weren't really God. So I actually run the system of things working. That is to say, I'm actually God. That is to say, it's not a position that can be, handed over or taken ever. That contradicts God. The theory existed before, but not the actual person. Don't feel too weird about it, because then you're not going to progress. It's been a year since my last video. I've been out there making money and building like my empire. I'm going to be doing a webcomic, or I'm doing a webcomic. It'll premiere in a couple weeks. I'm just, fine-tuning my approach here. I've got my digital software. Here you go. Yeah, guys. All right. This is the digital painting program that I've purchased. To do the colors for my webcomic. I've also got other things around here. Maybe not around here. Oh, this thing here. Hold on. This is my Cintiq, coloring tablet. Anyway. I ruined the framing. Let's do this. There we go. I'm obviously... Wow! What a waste of time. I'm just watching Greg move his camera around. No cuts, though. Alright? It's important. Alright, so Fantastic Four, John Byrne. Oh yeah, by 1986, Marvel comic books ran out of steam. Or out of ideas. Right? Then they just rebooted everything. New artists ripping off the stories that came out in the 50s, 60s, 70s, mostly in the 70s and 80s. And so Man of Steel is great and all, but in about 3 movies, maybe even only 2, they're going to be wow, now we don't know. What? We're out of ideas. Which is hilarious because, you have Superman and then some people are going to try and destroy the Earth. Again? The reason why James Bond is successful is because most people just come into it as it is in theaters. Oh wow, Skyfall, that was great. Why do they call it Bond 24? Because there are 24 other James Bond movies. What? Okay, I'm going to check them out. And then, you watch, Bond. I've been rewatching the Bond movies recently. And it's pretty good. It's pretty fun. You got, it's more creative entropy, homework. You've got Sean Connery, and he's great. Hooray. And, we kind of get sick of him. And then bring in George Lazenby. All right. And his big line at the beginning is, hey, that other guy didn't have to put up with this. Ha ha. Ladies and gentlemen, Then, then we get rid of him. We bring Sean Connery back. We need Connery back, right? And then Connery comes back, and he's all old, and he's like, hello, I'm back, right? And they're like, fuck this. Let's get Roger Moore, right? And they've got the fucking wings opening. Living, it goes a certain way. But then, Roger Moore comes in, and it's a whole different type of feeling. So he's a different Bond, hello, he's like, I'm going to sip on this martini, and la la la. He's a little stodgy, a little stuffy, but he's all right. Man with a Golden Gun, okay. Oh yeah, hold on. But by the time I get to Spy Who Loved Me, Spy Who Loved Me is horrible. It's like, you know, Agent Triple X. It's like Austin Powers. Like Spy Who Loved Me is like Austin Powers already. And I'm on Moonraker now. See, here's the thing. I like For Your Eyes Only. I think For Your Eyes Only, Octopussy, and View to a Kill are good. So it's like they did like Spy Who Loved Me, and it was like, and then they get to Moonraker, and I have seen Moonraker before, and it's like, it's fucking like I don't remember it being all that great. But I'm gonna watch it again, and I'm sure it's gonna be a hoot. But it's not gonna be like Spy Who Loved or For Your Eyes Only. For Your Eyes Only is actually very good. I do enjoy that movie. And Octopussy, some people might like. I actually think Octopussy is all right. Like it's a little bit more like it's good. Octopussy is good. It's the title makes it seem like it's an Austin Powers movie, but Octopussy is good. Anyway, breaking point. Something happened recently that a lot of people are trying to gloss over, and that is The Matrix. All right? So The Matrix comes out, and oh yeah, I want to make movies. I will be making movies. I'm making a webcomic. I will be making movies soon. The plan is this. Webcomic, then Kickstarter. It's like, what? It's been a year. Kickstarter exists, right? So I'm making a webcomic, then I'm going to Kickstarter the physical issues, and I'm going to do like about 12 issues, and then I'm going to make a 12-issue graphic novel hard copy and sell that, and then just sell enough of those hard copies and single issues. I'm going to stop making the single issues after the hard copy comes out, but sell the single issues, get enough money to make some short films or something, then sell the hard copies and make enough money to make some more short films until I've made enough short films to make a feature film. And so I will be making movies soon. Webcomic is coming in a couple of weeks. So 2 weeks on the first, and I'm going to do like a page maybe every other day. Page every other day or so. New pages every other day. So what happened with The Matrix is that all these ideas came out, all these freaky ideas, woo, and everybody's imagination's like, woo, soaring. All these books came out, the philosophy of the Matrix, and everyone got like so like, into their like, weed philosophy and Matrix philosophy and Matrix and the weed. And then like Charlie Kaufman was working with Spike Jonze and Michel Gondry, and there's about 4 Charlie Kaufman movies. There's Being John Malkovich. There's Adaptation, and then there's let's see, Human Nature, not as popular as those other 2, and then Eternal Sunshine, The Spotless Mind. Those are the big 4. And these are huge, like, this was the apex of the creative entropy caused by people who are actually slaves to the dream lords or the religious secret society leaders. That is to say, the dream masters who wanted to control the universe. And so this was like the apex. There was the Matrix, and then the torch was kind of passed to Charlie Kaufman and Michel Gondry and Spike Jonze, and they knocked out these 4 movies, and then Michel Gondry came out with Science of Sleep, which was a step back. And then Spike Jonze did something, Where the Wild Things Are. definitely no new information there. So Creative Entropy like rotted away everything after Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That's longtime viewers of my show will know that that's where it all dropped off. Then the torch went to me. I picked it up, and I created DC Metro and a number of other projects that only the people in the dream world know about. They were monitoring my imagination and my mind workings, and they're huge fans of my dream shows, which once you understand the actuality of life after death in the dream world, it is a valid venue. So I have a huge fan base in the dream world, but in the control world, like 62 views on my last video. 62 people. That's actually a lot of people. If you imagine 62 people in this basement, it would look like a fucking army. You know what I'm saying? So don't think that it's just like me in my basement and like 5 people accidentally clicking on my video. People are watching my videos and, they're out there. Currently. Like, I'm actually, currently, and when you're watching this, you'll understand that, I am managing things. I'm getting a lot, there are some people who understand currently that I'm making a video, and they understand, they can feel what I'm doing via this Dream Terminal news network. And when they watch the video, they'll go, hey, here's the video he was making when I was monitoring the Dream Terminal. And cool, I saw the live show. Here's the hard copy, or, the streaming video off YouTube. It's published. Crazy. How long am I going to keep doing the same old shit before I get sick of what's at the theaters? Now, here's the thing. If you saw Star Trek 2 or Star Trek Into Darkness, right, you'll know that you just watched a collage of other movies that were just pasted together to form a new movie. It does not work. And Man of Steel, as much as I enjoyed Man of Steel, which is more than all of the Nolan Batman movies, I thought all of those sucked. As much as I liked Man of Steel, still, it's like, that's great and all. Sometimes I hear myself talk, and my voice is getting so into the territory that I have to like pause. It's a little excited. Still, even there, that's not. This stuff is so good. I do feel like I'm in like a Lipton iced tea commercial when I'm drinking it. It's like, so good. Here, I'm gonna get my voice to a point where it sounds like I normally sound. Anyway, this is also Spirit World, attacking that's going on. They are able to do that. They're able to change your voice. Those of you who have actually, studied the Revolution 9 song on the Beatles' White Album, you might be confused by that weird, like, there's a part in Revolution 9, and hopefully that, I won't get, like, the audio deleted from this video when I sing it, but I'll change it. It won't be the same. But, like, there's a part in Revolution 9, where it's like, block that kick, and a little bit slower. Anyway, but there's a part of that song where you hear John Lennon going, right! Or he's like, right! Like, it doesn't even sound like him, right? Right! And then it changes into John Lennon's voice. Right! Right! And then you're like, hey! Weird! Right? That's John Lennon being burdened by the spirit world trying to change his voice, screaming to get his voice back. It's a little strange. Anyway. So, this is something. Like, let's not think that these videos aren't something, because they definitely are. I just refuse to monetize my YouTube account. I don't want people to see any ads on my videos. So, the webcomic and these, maybe not the webcomic, but the webcomic will open the door for the physical printings of single issues, which I can then make money from. And then once I get enough of those single issues together, see, I don't want to just, wait until I have enough for a graphic novel, because then, people won't have, the single issues. I think single issues are great. I can do covers, different covers for each issue. That'll be nice. But once I have enough issues for the graphic novel, I can just sell the graphic novel and make enough money and be famous enough from that to start making short films. And I have enough short films and, DV features. Like I'm pretty satisfied with how high def digital cameras look these days, for me to not, cringe about. I have a certain number of projects that I plan to shoot digitally, and I can just do that from the graphic novel. So that's all coming up soon. This is just kind of like a what the fuck is going on update. Anyway, it is a what the fuck is going on update for everyone who's been going, what the fuck is going on? It's been like a year, and, all 62, some of those views are mine, like maybe 3 of those views. But like, all 59 of you all out there, hey, it's been a year. What the fuck is going on? All right, well, there's like the Marvel Phase 2 movies that are going to be coming out. And the thing is, they only have enough ideas to last, maybe like 6 movies, maybe like Avengers 3. But then once they start getting into a territory where the superheroes are either giant, I mean, the Hulk, people are like, yeah, Avengers worked. Avengers did work for most people. I thought it was still kind of like, a little too like, I was going to say Scarlet Witch. But the Black Widow being tied up in the chair and then going, oh yeah, I've got these guys right where I want them. And then she's like, ha ha. It's like 125-pound girl who's 5'4" overpowers like, 4 or 5 guys who are like 200 pounds and like 6'1". Maybe if she were like 5'9" and like 140 and maybe looked like Jessica Biel, I could buy that Jessica Biel could kick all of those guys' asses. But Scarlett Johansson, I think, is much more suited to do something less volatile. That works. So anyway, Star Trek Into Darkness, rehash of other movies. Man of Steel, pretty good, but that's the character, guys. I don't normally get my vocal range into those frantic, pretty good. So that's not how I talk. That's me pretending to be someone else. So yeah, Science of Sleep sucked, and then what was that other one? Cynic Doce is what I call it. Cynic Doce, New York. Most people call it Schenectady. So Schenectady, New York, no good. Charlie Kaufman, they lost it. Like, where is it? It's right here. And while people ignore me and try to move on without me, I don't want to admit that Greg is God. No way. I'll never do that. They're just going to make shittier and shittier movies until we have like Whip It reboots, which is really just, what is it? Bend It Like Beckham remake reboots. And then we're going to have like Star Trek, we're going to have like Voyage Home, plus, V'ger's gonna make a comeback, and it's like, search for fucking, okay. So if Kirk is alive at the end of Into Darkness, we don't have to search for Kirk in the third movie. So Star Trek 3, oh, wait a second, hot potato, now we're all going to be talking about Star Wars 7. And it's J.J. Abrams. He's going to move from Star Trek Into Darkness to Star Wars Episode 7. What are they going to do with that? It's obviously going to suck. Because creative entropy plagued Star Wars back after Return of the Jedi. Every Star Wars movie and thing that has come out after Return of the Jedi, while entertaining for some, is just horrible for most. And everyone's been hiding. I'm right here still, guys. Webcomic in a couple weeks. I was thinking about doing a Kickstarter just for the webcomic. How about giving me 10 grand for me to develop my webcomic so that I don't have to work at Domino's. Whatever. I work at Domino's. But so that I don't have to work at Domino's in order to buy a, graphic tablet from Intuos, the makers of the Cintiq 22H. Anyway, I got a new monitor here that took me a few weeks to work up the money for. A new computer took a few months. I got the scanner. That's a week's worth of work. 4 days, back when I worked 4 days. Anyway, so webcomic coming soon. Is that everything? People? Alright, so people are out there. People are out there being fake. I don't know. It's a mystery still. Who knows what'll happen to me after I die? I think it'll be... No. Breaking point. When I say breaking point, I mean for you all. But not real. Well, no, really. Because Dream World, right? I'm already in the dream world. I'm a huge star. Right? Everyone else? Okay, here's another thing. A lot of people, we've covered creative entropy. It's going to motivate everyone to buy my comics. So all of the people who got kind of left in the wind with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and by me, after I stopped making videos a year ago, will once again have something I didn't actually, I technically didn't leave anyone in the wind a year ago because I've been in the dream world doing shit. And so all of the people a year ago have just been all of the people who have been watching my videos up until a year ago just redirected their efforts into my, workings in the dream world. So, there's still a lot of stuff out there that most people haven't seen yet. It's me, like when I was a kid, there was Star Wars, and I didn't want to backtrack and watch shit that wasn't as good as Star Wars. So my life was dedicated to watching only the best shit. I got in on the ground floor when anime, exploded in '86. I went directly from anime to John Woo movies. And then only after Tarantino was revealed to have ripped off Ringo Lam's City on Fire, did I, because it was John Woo, then Tarantino, Tarantino's awesome. Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs is ripped off from City on Fire. Fuck this guy, right? Then I was left without some sort of thing that was super awesome. But then I discovered Kurosawa. And so, I started watching all of Kurosawa's films. So Kurosawa took me into, the 1999. And then in 99, it was Fight Club and Matrix. Matrix into Charlie Kaufman. Charlie Kaufman to myself. And so I started writing. I wrote a screenplay. I finished it in 2003. And from there, I took the torch. And it's mine forever. Surprise! Well, what about everyone else who wants... Okay, everyone else... This is where a lot of people are fumbling. Everyone else out there who's making movies currently, 8 years ago... everybody knows, different things. But if those people want to make better films, come on out here and recognize that I'm what I am. And okay, I don't even want to say that. But after I make enough movies, everybody will get the idea and make their own interpretations of the master ideology. An example would be Tarantino. Here's a weird thing that's happening. A lot of directors out there and writers are actually getting some new life from my dream world, like leavings. That's like my dust, really. So I'm like, here's everybody, and they're like, yeah, we're making stuff, and here I'm included. I'm like, yeah, I'm working on my own shit, and then everything like boils down to like, oh, I just came up with some stuff that transcends what everyone else has been coming up with, and I'm like, Pachoo! And most people are like, oh, I've got to just go over here and re-explore this, and here's a sequel and a reboot. But then some directors are like, they're like, what's this shit? Hey, oh, here's a Django Unchained. And then here's, I'm going to come up with another, So it's like, Inglourious Bastards, and then there's like, but then some people are like faltering with that. That's like Prometheus. Prometheus is basically a cry for help from Ridley Scott going, I don't know what's going on. Here's a clusterfuck of whatever, It's really the same thing with Into Darkness, Star Trek Into Darkness. I can only imagine what Star Wars Episode 7 is going to be. I feel that Star Wars Episode 7 is just going to be like Battle for Endor, maybe, with the little girl. Maybe not that bad. If J.J. Abrams is involved, it's going to be, I don't know. It's definitely not going to be as good as my Star Wars Episode 1, reboot, which I'll eventually do. At some point. If Disney were smart, they'd just give me the franchise. Greg, J.J. Abrams made a shitty Episode 7. Can you make all of the Star Wars movies from now on? Yes. I have all the answers. Alright? That's a big one. I have all the answers. Basically, it's this. This is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be making movies. They're going to be mega huge. We'll just say that these boxes represent each title, each series. I have a lot of series that keep going perpetually, forever, right? But wait a second, Greg. What if we run out of space? We don't have enough room for all the Blu-rays. Because if we're immortal, we're immortal, by the way. We don't have to age or die. Controversial. We have a black president. If that doesn't open people's minds up, a little bit more, to the fact that we can just not age past a certain point, I don't know what will. Maybe this video, right? So, we got, okay, so basically, like, I'm going to be dropping these mega huge movies and series on everyone else who are still going to be down here. It's going to allow, these movies will eventually allow these people who are still unable to surpass Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind to come up to maybe here. And just stay here. But this will seem like, this is really like stay here and make good shit. It's basically like a little bit above where they were. But never going to be coming up into my area because it's impossible. Because surprise, I have already secured my creative properties. These series, they already exist. In the dream world, which is here's the thing. What happens when episode 5 million of your series comes out and we don't have enough space on Earth to store the Blu-rays? The dream world has infinite space. You could just smoke a joint and then, like, use your, magic weed powers to access your Blu-ray collection in the dream world. And this is before episode 5 million, more like episode, like, 75. Like, once you, where do I store 75 Blu-rays? Okay, if you live in an apartment, your maximum Blu-ray storage capacity without, renting some storage space. Anyway, without renting some storage space somewhere, it's probably going to be around, like, maybe like 5,000, 10,000. Like, you just get those. You can get like 300, like, folded like this. I think this holds, like, this is ancient, by the way. This was made for CDs. But this would only hold about, like, 150. I have another one over there that holds like 208. But, like, you can buy them, like, and they're about this thick, and they hold like 320. And, if you have them like this thick, you could get like a bookshelf and then just store them, on a bookshelf, 300, you get like 10 of them, 20 of them, and then you're out of room. In a house, maybe 20,000. And this is like the deep future. Once you're out of, like, shelf space, we just move into the dream world. And that's where all of these series exist already. I've already developed the system. So I already have a system of infinite space storage in the dream world for my already existing episodes of DC Metro and Crusades and Spaceheads and all the other series that I've created already. And these people are just never going to touch me. I don't want them to. I don't, like, they're actually, like, they don't deserve it. And when I say deserve it, I mean, I don't want anyone to. No one will ever deserve it. It is undeservable. No one should even want it. Because they would just be ripping me off and, like, trying to, like, oh, we're going... See, like, there's a weird thing going on where these people should be supporting me, but they're too busy trying to do it themselves. Maybe I can figure out what he did and then do it before him, and I'm already rich. And then, sorry, Chris Nolan, but your movies aren't that great. I know a lot of people love them, but, he's not going to get anywhere. Like, Inception. Yeah, Inception is, like, an okay movie. And, he does reveal... he doesn't reveal anything. But he alludes to the fact that the dream world is where people live on after they die. But then it doesn't count if you say, oh, she's just a projection. If you go, like, half-assed like that, it's not going at all. You're not really even saying anything. Even if people know it, I'm the only person that can publish it. It's been online for years. Anyway, that's been this episode. I don't like cutting my head. Like, I look weird. Like, no, not that weird. Anyway. So that's where we are. Oh yeah, this. I'm going to cover this one more time. That is to say, the final review. In conclusion, I'm already here. Whee! These people are still... These people are not here yet. They are here still. Actually, some of them are, like, maybe up here. They get the idea. And they're like, oh, I get it. If I... not really. They're not... They're still actually down here dealing with things, like ripping off things that seem new, but are still old shit, and they haven't really, ventured into my territory yet. They're not going to be able to until I release the physical versions of these. So, DC Metro already exists in the dream world, as does Crusades and Spaceheads and the Users. But until I actually start making physical releasable movies, after the webcomic, and then the issues, and then the graphic novel, then I'll start making movies. That's a timeline. Factor that, and when I continue to not get any feedback from you people, I just I just keep going. I don't want to say I don't mind, but I can deal with it. If people are uncomfortable coming forward and saying, "Hey, man," some people aren't uncomfortable with it, but once the webcomic comes out and I can start kickstarting the physical issues, people can show their support by buying the comic. So and the first issue I'll have enough pages of the webcomic for the first issue when I have 32 pages. So, webcomic for 32 pages, issue 1, 32 more pages, issue 2. Then 12 issues equals graphic novel. Then graphic novel sells enough so that I can make movies. And they're just going to be indie digital films. At first. So that's a timeline. Everybody hold your horses. I'll make another video if I feel like it. Let's just wait for the webcomic. In the meantime, there's a lot of shit you could be watching. I just bought the complete Mystery Science Theater 3000 series on DVD, which I should get in the mail shortly. Yeah, I'll be watching that occasionally when I'm not working on my webcomic, which I would like to be doing every day, which I will be doing, which I do every day. I do work on my webcomic every day. There's a lot of writing involved. It is a very, I don't want to say laborious, but it is a very intricate and delicate thing, and I've been writing it for years, and it's going to be awesome. In the meantime, I guess Mystery Science Theater 3000. Catch up on it if you haven't heard of it. Urusei Yatsura, Zeta Gundam. If you haven't seen those yet, see those. You can leave a comment if you want some sort of recommendation for something. There could I have a Twitter account. See, the thing is, I don't want to have a, I've been deleting people from my followers on my Twitter account because they follow me and then they don't say anything. And I can't allow that, because that just says to me that they're going, I'm one of his followers, and that means that I'm one of his followers, which is recognized in the dream world, and then I'm going to use my dream terminal to locate him. I deal with that shit every day. People should not think that they can ever fucking get me, I record this shit, and people are still trying to get me, in Mind World. Anyway, good night, folks.